Hello, Dr. Francisca Anene here, and this is PPL421 Land Law 1. I trust that you've been making progress, enjoying our lessons. So today we are going to be learning another topic on land law. Of course, you remember that land law 1 majors on customary rules of land law, customary land tenure. So let's see what we have today. So, as usual, take notes, take part in the activity, and I promise you, you will get better at it. So, at the end of this lesson, you're going to be able to identify the person responsible for the control and management of community land, explain the position of that person in law, and discuss the rights and duties of that person being the chief or community head. Discuss his rights and duties with respect to the management of community land. So first things first, who manages community land? The person who does that is the chief or the community head. Now, if it's a chieftaincy family, a community, then it will be the chief. But if it's a community, a sub-community, well, it would be the community head. It may be someone who's elected by the council of elders or the oldest male person in the community or so on and so on. So there are different ways in which he can be the community head. The authority he has to manage and control is derived from customary law, and it's extensive. His powers are extensive, right? And they cannot be withdrawn or limited or curtailed, whether by the community or by other chiefs or elders. On this point, you can see Odunsi and Ojora, and you can see Amodu Tijani against the Secretary of Southern. So the position of the community head is quite unique, and there's really no commensurate description under English law to talk about his position, because though he has the right to control and manage community land, and as we said, wide powers, he's not the owner of the land. So if you were to look at the English position of a trustee, that's about the closest to it, but it's not exactly the same, because while a trustee has ownership rights, the community head does not have ownership rights. Calling him a caretaker is just a misnomer, because he has wide powers, as I said, of management and of control. And then, of course, as an agent, though sometimes he may be mandated as an agent, he is not an agent, because there are no limits to the control, of all control of the powers that he has by any member of the community. So let's take a quick activity. I'd like you to think about what we have said about the community head. First, his responsibility for management and control, and the fact that he has extensive powers to carry out, these responsibilities. And also, we pointed out that these powers cannot be curtailed or, limited in any way by anyone in the community. So I'd like you to now think about it and answer this question. How correct is it to say that a community head or chief is the trustee of the community? So I'll give you some time to think about it, and we will make progress. Okay, so now let's talk about the powers of the community head. Of course, the first power, that we talked about is his power to manage and control community land. And we remember we said that he has wide powers in the exercise, of his responsibility. And whatever management or control he does in the interest of the community. And whatever actions he takes on behalf of the community. Of course, management and control of community land includes the alienation of community land. He is the principal person responsible for alienating in any way, whether by sale, by gift, by pledge, or whatever. He is the principal person who must represent the community where land is to be alienated, community land is to be alienated. And powers now also, he is responsible for the allocation of community land to members of the community, to strangers, whoever. He has this power. Again, he's this power is wide. However, there are restrictions where, it has to do with members have a right of allocation of community land, whether the community chief or the community head likes it or not. He must allocate to members. However, there's no compulsion to allocate to strangers. And of course, alienation allocation he does as the in his capacity, in consonance with the council of elders. Also, he collects tributes, rents, any form of consideration or compensation on behalf of the family. And if there are lawsuits, he also defends or sues, the duty of accountability. Now, it is a fiduciary duty that he owes the community. Remember what we said, that whatever he does on behalf of the community. So, whatever he does from a position of trust. And for this reason, he will be accountable for his actions for the community. You know, that more like a trustee, that's where, again, that relationship comes in. So, particularly if he collects all those rents and all of that, he ought to account to the community on how he spent the monies, or what he has done with the income, and where necessary distribute income. On this matter, you can see the case of Akonde and Akonde, Achibong, as well as Bolaji. And so let's take a second activity now. Okay, we have been talking about all that the community head can do, and if you remember, we said that he has wide powers which cannot be limited, controlled, or abrogated in any way, or derogated from. And we also listed some of the things that he must do, some of the things that he has the power to exercise, the right to alienate and all that. So now, bearing all those in mind, I'd like you to answer this question. As the alpha and omega of the community, the chief owes no explanations for rents and tributes collected from community tenants. Discourse. So I'll give you some time to think about it, and then we will end this lesson. So in this lesson, we have learned that the person responsible for the management and control of community property, community land, is the chief or the community head. We have also learned his position vis-a-vis some of the terms that we use for persons who manage property: trustee, caretaker, agent, and so on. And then we have also learned about his rights and duties. Remember, or his powers and duties. Remember the two major duties we talked about: accountability and consultation. And then, of course, various powers: alienation, management and control, collection of rent and other forms of compensation, and so on. So I'd like you to, you can always download the video and watch it again and again to help you get a clearer understanding. But if you have any questions on what I have talked about today, please feel free to post it on the discussion forum, and then we can talk about it. So I'd like to thank you for viewing this video, and I'll see you at the next class.